Welcome to the March 19, 2025 meeting of the Gloucester Conservation Commission. The time is 5:30, and we will start with a roll call of commissioners present. Member Cook,
Here.
Member Sargent, Member Viteri,
Here.
Member Gullah,
Here.
and Member Jackson.
Here.
And as usual, please continue to check upcoming calendar notifications and agendas for information on how to join and log into the upcoming meetings.
Okay, good evening, everybody. First up, we'll go through a administrative briefing. Chuck, anything in that box?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay. Next up is the public comment period. This is the period where people are welcome to speak towards conservation issues that are not, I repeat, not on tonight's agenda. If anyone likes to speak, you could do so now. Seeing none, hearing none, I close the public comment period. Next up is minutes review and approval. I think we just have enough. Are we all good to go on this?
Yes.
All right, are you and Bill's still doing?
We have a motion.
I'm sorry. I move to approve the minutes for March 5th, 2025 as amended.
I'll second.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent. Yes. Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullah,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, next up is continued business, or notice of intent, 0282976, 171, 171, and 28 R rear, Magnolia Avenue, Howe Mag construction of the 26-unit residential subdivision in riverfront area, buffer zone of bordering vegetated wetland. And DeRosa Environmental Consulting is requesting a continuation to April 2nd, 2025.
Jackson moves to continue NOI 0282976 at 171 and 281 Rear Magnolia Avenue to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025.
I'll
Commissioner
second.
Sargent.
Okay.
Second.
Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullah,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, next up would be notice of intent, 0283034, 68 Riverview Road, Essex by the River LLC, construction of a new duplex and associated utilities in riverfront area, buffer zone to coastal bank, Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal, and associated utilities in riverfront, buffer zone, zone to coastal bank, and Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal Solutions, requesting a continuation to April 2nd, 2025.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283034 at 68 Riverview Road to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call. Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullah,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Next up would be notice of intent, 0282950, 160, 158R.
No, no.
Oh, did I skip? Which
Minor
one?
modification 0.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, jumped one. Minor modification, 0282919, 282719, 87 Rear Wingasheek Road, Ann Davis, to abandon and replace existing septic tank, upgraded replacement tank, and coastal dune. And I guess it's Evan Govendaran from DeRosa Environmental, Inc., requesting a continuation to April 2nd, 2025.
Commissioner Jackson moves to continue minor modification 0282719 at 87 Rear Wingasheek Road to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call. Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullah,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, now I think I'm on the right one. Notice of intent 0282950, 160, 158R, 154A, Essex Avenue, Upper Banjo LLC. Construction of road, utilities, drainage, dam reconstruction, installation of a dock and float in buffer zone BVW, Land Underwater Body, Inland Bank, Joel Vavaza, Seaside Legal Solutions, represent.
Thank you. For the record, Joel Favaza, Seaside Legal Solutions, 123 Main Street, here on behalf of Upper Banjo LLC. At our last meeting, we were sent back with a little bit of hopefully last item homework. One was to consider that 5,000 square feet maximum disturbance per lot condition that had come through the technical comments from DEP.
For the record, Commissioner Cook recuses himself.
Sorry, Mr. Vavaza.
No, that's fine. I should have waited for that. I knew it was coming. So in speaking with Chuck, it's our understanding that limits 5,000 square feet of actual wetland resource area impact per lot. And that's fine because the proposed lots that are being shown here at most are in the buffer zone themselves. The only impact anywhere to a resource area is the dam reconstruction, and all that's temporary. So as long as that's 5,000 square feet of resource area alteration per lot maximum, that's fine. Obviously, as discussed in the planting plan, there's considerably more than 5,000 square feet of buffer zone that's going to be altered and replanted. So moving on to that planting plan, I provided a site plan that had been adapted by Anscombe Land Care, and I provided a narrative that tried to explain what was before you was the comprehensive planting plan that both was going to satisfy the planning board requirements. There's a lot of non-jurisdictional, non-conservation jurisdictional land that has to be heavily vegetated to create these clusters as part of the cluster development. And then there's obviously a considerable amount of buffer zone area that is jurisdictional. And so what I had tried to explain is that we have got about 314,000 square feet of buffer zone on the property. Within that 314, just about 22,000 square feet is going to become impervious. And so we are proposing to do 50,000 square feet, which is a little more than 2 to 1 of mitigation for native plantings, that sort of thing within the buffer zone, targeted likely along the southern border of Upper Banjo Pond itself. Additionally, there's going to be roughly 85,000 square feet of temporarily disturbed buffer zone, and that would be repaired on a one-to-one basis. Whatever doesn't remain impervious gets replanted. And so the planting plan that we were provided shows considerably more than a 50,000 square foot mitigation and 80,000 square feet of restoration. And the idea being that the site is so big and this project is so big, it would be a little foolhardy to say, you know what, I think the best place for 50,000 square feet here in March of 25 is this little area, right? So we can commit to the plant species that have been provided, commit to the minimum areas that have been provided. But we think it would make more sense that after, the road is in and we're ready to start, restoring the property, as Chuck actually pointed out, there's a lot of dense vegetation that right now only receives, shade through the canopy. When the road comes in, again, the southerly light may come through and may actually change some things. So we may find pockets where understory plantings will have a better chance at surviving if they need, at least partial sunlight. We talked about in the narrative that mature trees and other ecologically beneficial plantings that don't need to come out, we won't seek to come out. So again, if we go to the southern shore of the pond and try to mitigate there, we're not going to knock down trees and then put trees back. But again, if there's potential for understory, ferns, shrubs, that sort of thing, we'll add the 50,000 square feet in. And then of course, if there are, for example, if you went on the site visit, there's some pines up there that are in rough shape that are probably not going to survive the construction process. So when things like that happen, the tree species that you've seen will be the tree species used to replace areas where trees either aren't or were, but weren't able to tolerate the work. So if any questions about that, I can certainly do my best, but the planting plan that you have has the species that we're agreeing to and the square footage minimums we're agreeing to. The only to be determined in concert with either your commission or with Chuck is the exact location. And we just think it's premature to try and nail that down now. We'll do a better job when we're on the site of finding the most beneficial locations. And then the last bit of homework was Bill Ross had the third-party reviewer had identified in our previous supplemental submission that there were 2 catch basins that we'd intended to pipe into that Barracuda storm system before it goes into BMP4. We just missed that piping change. So we've supplemented the plan set showing that all 4 catch basins that should be hitting the Barracuda system hit the Barracuda system before BMP4. Nothing gets to BMP4 without going through that system. And although the specs of the system that were in there to begin with were sufficient, I believe the engineer actually upsized the outlet pipe of the Barracuda system to make sure that even in a tremendous storm event, that will not get backed up and we'll be able to handle the flow of those 4 catch basins without question. So I believe those are the 3 items that I touch on. If the commission has any other specific questions, I'm happy to go through it. Otherwise, it's been a long haul, but I hope we're there.
Okay, if you could, Mr. Vavaza, just step back so I can open up for public comment first. Anybody in the public who wishes to speak for or against this project may do so now. Yep, sure, come on up. Name and address for the record, please.
Hi,
Okay.
Camille Vicente, 158 Essex Ave. I continue to voice my concerns that this project threatens the vernal pool. When the applicant updated its stormwater plan, it did not set back the BMP between the development and the vernal pool to ensure runoff would receive infiltration, because that would mean moving or eliminating a buildable lot. Instead, they rerouted all of that upland stormwater from the vernal pool watersheds to Upper Banjo watershed. This change in the vernal pool watershed is what is disturbing. The applicant continues to misrepresent the vernal pool boundary, one that should include the farthest reaches of the pool, one that the conservation agent has stated that there's ponding outside of the flagging and provided photographic evidence, one that the state conservation scientist said the applicant's delineation is too low for the average spotted salamander, and that typically the entirely isolated wetlands and vernal pool are one and the same. Another concern is that the applicant must show that the vernal pool won't be altered. This is a requirement by the Wetlands Protection Act and the Stormwater Handbook with 2 evaluations. The first, per standard 3, is documenting compliance for stormwater recharge with a water budget analysis, since all but one of the upland design points redirects stormwater to an entirely different watershed, significantly reducing its watershed. For the Bray Street appeal, it was documented that a 7% change in water budget is significant. The change in impervious area looks well over that for this project. What is the change in impervious area or change in watershed area? What is its velocity change? What's its volume change? These 4 numbers would certainly help you, the conservation, decide if this project will alter the vernal pool, but my guess is that they are well over 7%. And second, per standard 6, is a habitat evaluation. As requested back in June by the third-party reviewer, yet the applicant said no because their BMP does not discharge near and to a vernal pool. They're not going to do it. Yet the language in standard 6 LCA2 is different. The exact wording is stormwater discharges near or to outstanding resource waters, including vernal pools. And number 3 reads specifically, stormwater BMPs must be set back 100 feet from certified vernal pool and comply with 310 CMR 1060. Proponents must perform a habitat evaluation. By definition, a stormwater discharge is the system of conveyances, not the output of water. And that's why the near or to language is used. BMP2 is as near as it can possibly be at 100 feet setback to this questionable boundary. Per standard 6, a discharge is near a critical area if there's a strong likelihood of significant impact occurring to said area. And as I've just explained, with all of that vernal pool watershed getting diverted, there's absolutely a strong likelihood of significant impact. So I'll ask, is stormwater discharge, are these stormwater conveyances, is BMP2 near? Is it in proximity? Is it not far? Could it significantly impact this vernal pool? Yes, absolutely. Thus, BMPs must be 100 feet away and a habitat evaluation must be performed. It is on the applicant to prove to you that the habitat will not be altered with a recharge analysis and a habitat evaluation. They have not done these, nor have they fixed the vernal pool boundaries, and until they do, the project should be denied. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for or against the project? Yep. come on up, state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Brenda Souza. I live at 2 Malcolm Road, which is,
Pull the microphone down.
There you go.
to hear that.
Yeah.
My house abuts where the road is intended to go. And I did have some concerns that the closeness to my driveway, from their measurements, it's only like 14 inches to my hot top, but my original survey that came with the house is more distance. It's like 17 inches from that last survey that was done. So my concern is like the closeness to having a road next to my driveway. And also the concerns of, is there going to be blasting done because of ledge and any, debris that's going to be in the air. I know when they built at the crossing, there was like a lot of dirt flying. So my house is right close to this, road that's supposed to go in. And so that is my concern. Thank you.
Anyone else, for or against? Okay, you want to do commissioner roll call comments?
Yep, Member Cook. Oh, sorry, excuse. Member Sargent.
Yes, thank you for the meaningful changes. You've come quite a ways. I'm wondering how the baseline for the area of existing vegetation was calculated. This planting plan seems very open-ended. I'd like a better breakdown regarding any vegetation that's proposed to be removed, both quantity and quality, particularly woody plants, trees, and shrubs. And I believe that it was previously discussed that the delineation of the certified vernal pool on the plan should be revisited. I'm not sure on that, but, that should be looked at. And I'm wondering if Bill Ross has any more questions on the stormwater. Thank you.
Member Viteri.
Yes, I understand the issue with the planting plan and finalizing things, so I don't have an issue with that. I would like to see you kind of document and keep an inventory of trees and other kind of species that are removed during construction, so that mitigation can be done, in the right proportions. Your HOA language for the vernal pools was acceptable to me. Wasn't mentioned previously. I guess my question is, are you adding an additional Barracuda unit, or are you just rerouting the BMP flow into the existing unit and upsizing the outfall from that one? In response to the abutter comments, I would note in the letter there's information cited from January of 2024 about the boundaries of the vernal pool. I think in May, during the May 15th, 2024 meeting, at least my notes reflect that Chuck had gone out and looked at the boundaries and found it to be accurate. So I'm not sure that there's still a boundary issue on the vernal pool, but I'll ask Chuck to confirm that. And then I did also have questions for Bill Ross about whether he believes that a water budget analysis and a habitat analysis is required. Thank you.
Member Gullo.
Nothing at this time.
Member Jackson.
No, I agree with the previous comments. I'm also curious about the need for a habitat evaluation. And I do think that the outer boundaries of the vernal pool maybe should be measured in April, late March, early April, when the water level is likely to be highest.
Okay, Chuck?
Yes, I did go back out after they had redetermined the boundaries of the vernal pool based on elevation. And that elevation they figured was where the water last spring was kind of topping over and spilling out of the basin. So the original flags were not accurate, but I do believe that they have accurately represented the elevation and boundaries of the vernal pool.
All right, Mr. Ross, do you have any comments you'd like to make, please?
Good evening. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't have too many comments. I just wanted to clarify the Barracuda unit was added in response to our comment about the ORW to get additional treatment. So it was originally added to the plan, and then subsequently the most recent addition is to pipe additional catch basins to the new Barracuda. The last revision we received had a hand-drawn edit indicating their intention to pipe all the 4 catch basins to the Barracuda unit, just to make sure that the board receives, a permanent, an official drawing and not a hand-drawn edit on that point. We did request a habitat evaluation because that is a recommended step. The applicant explained why they did not need one because we do agree that they are outside of the 100-foot buffer. So it was left that they did not offer to comply with our request on that. And I do not feel that we can demand it, but it certainly would be helpful for all projects anywhere near a vernal pool. As far as the water budget, they earlier demonstrated pre and post runoff to not be decreased or increased, and we had requested a volume calculation as well. So they provided the pre and post runoff volume that reaches the vernal pool, and that was not decreased as either for the 1-inch storm. So that was our main concern, is that they would be directing all of the runoff away from this vernal pool. So in addition to the outstanding edit to the plan, I have a comment or two on the HOA language. We have suggested that they delineate the 100-foot boundary. I don't know if it's in another condition, but this does not discuss how many bounds would be placed and what they would say. It might be more helpful to have a sign that identifies it as a protected area that can't be entered. And we had recommended that you restrict the use where you could not do landscaping, lawn mowing, use of pesticides, etc. They have talked about not using pesticides, but they don't discuss the rest. So I think planting the entire area as a lawn and mowing it without pesticides would be detrimental as well. So it would be important to not have basically any use that's not natural within the buffer area. And the lighting, there should not be excess lighting that spills certainly not onto the vernal pool. They had put in a requirement that they will not cast any light within 100 feet of the vernal pool. So I don't know what you have in mind for measuring any light, if there's any kind of foot candle measurement or something you would like to do to verify, but I think that might be tightened up a little.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Ross?
Commissioner Sargent says those were very good suggestions. I'll take them to heart. I'm hoping that the applicant will put that on his punch list. Thank you.
I second that. Would add those as conditions as well, and have them as deed restrictions, or at least be restrictions that are on each of the individual lots that are around the vernal pool that are affected by that.
Anything to
I know you were putting restrictions on 15, 16, 17, and 18, I think. What about 22?
22, I believe, is beyond. So again, as far as the delineation goes, I know there's multiple lines. So there was the flagging line for the vernal pool, then there was the larger elevation, right? This is, at this point, water physically can't be held beyond this elevation. It spills down, right? And so there's 2 buffer lines that are measured out 100 feet from those. And I don't believe that even the more aggressive line clips 22. The buffer to the wetland clips 22, but 100 feet from the vernal pool does not enter 22. So there would be no need to mark that or restrict that further.
Mr. Favazza, so this obviously has been a long time, this project. I know everyone's tired, been working diligently on it, I get it. What was the reasoning back when about why you won't do the habitat review?
So as I hope this board can appreciate, we've been at this particular permitting round for 2.5 years. It's cost a lot of money, a lot of time, and we are happy to do, what is required of us and to go beyond when we can. But in looking at what that entails, that is potentially months and a lot of money. And as Mr. Ross said, we are not required to do it. The last thing I would just kind of point out is, while I appreciate the concern, the realities of this particular site are that the closest alterations, BMP2, are down gradient of the vernal pool. And as I've learned, and maybe you have also through this, I know how much I didn't know about vernal pools until I got into this, but the animal species that typically make use of vernal pool come from further upland, head down gradient to a pool, and then return further upland. So any habitat that is down gradient of the vernal pool is not actually habitat typically used by vernal pool species. They come from further up down to the pool and go back up into the woods. They don't head down gradient. The whole idea is that they're trying to avoid interacting with other predator species that are further down slope, which is why they're not going upper Banjo Pond, because these animals will get eaten down there. They find these vernal pools and then go back up. So in this particular instance, again, besides it not being a requirement, it seems like the sensitive area for this vernal pool is the trustees' land and the Ravenswood land up the hill, and none of that's even being touched. We're 100 feet away downhill where these creatures should not be leaving from for the vernal pool or heading to after the vernal pool.
I'm curious what you think about providing information on the water budget for the vernal pools. That would seem to be, kind of not that expensive, for your applicant to, provide that information as well as the suggestion that there not be any excessive lighting and that natural vegetation be in the buffer zone, particularly around the vernal pool.
So the suggestions of Mr. Ross, as far as extending the conditions or expanding the conditions or restrictions rather on those 4 lots, that's okay. If you don't want turf lawn back there, you basically want it to be a no disturb zone, right? We'd like to make sure that the property owners are able to, if they choose to walk through their woods, right? We don't want to say, no passage, but we can certainly say that you're not to alter the vegetation beyond that line. So no problem with those edits. As far as the water budget question, and maybe this is us just kind of speaking past each other, I thought Mr. Ross kind of clarified that, we did provide pretty extensive pre and post development, calculations about the catchment areas, where water's going, how much. And so I thought the information that you're kind of referring to has been submitted. And so I don't know that there's more for us to do on the water, the water budget side of things.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Cook, are you still here? Did you have anything to?
He's
He's
recused.
recused.
Oh. didn't
You
see
might
you.
want to see if Mr. Ross wants to respond to this.
Okay. Mr. Ross, you have anything else to add or respond to based on Mr. Vavaz's comments?
Nope, I don't.
Okay. Vavaz, you're looking for a vote, I would guess?
I would like that, sir, yes.
Are we conditioning it on submission of a new plan to correct that hand-drawn edit? I believe that was something that Bill said.
Usually when we close the public, you can't come back in, sorry. The public comment, that is. Sorry. Commissioners? Yep.
So Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for NOI 0282950 at 160, 158 rear and 154A Essex Avenue, Upper Banjo, LLC.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve NOI 0282950 at 160, 158 rear, 154A Essex Avenue with the previously discussed conditions, including a professionally drawn plan regarding the drainage system. the HOA language to cover lighting, pesticide use as well as other chemical use. And those that have previously been mentioned in other meetings.
Commissioner Sargent seconds and wants to say, there should be no marine biocide used in the construction of the raft and no motorized watercraft in Banjo Pond. And all the watering would be treated before being discharged, and there be natural vegetation in the buffer zone.
That was a second. All right, Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Next. Over to 105. Okay. So next up will be 105 Wingershik, notice of intent 028306, 105 Wingershik Road, 125 LLC to replace existing single-family home and detached garage with pile-supported single-family home in garage, installation of, installation of gravel driveway, installation of septic system, water service, in coastal dune barrier beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage, ACEC, buffer zone to ACEC and BVW.
Represented by Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal Solutions, PC.
For
They
the
are
rec-
requesting a
For the
continu-
record, Commissioner Cook returned.
They are requesting a continuation to April 2nd. So Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 028306 at 105 Wingershik Road to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 2nd, 2025.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, would it be possible to actually push that out to the meeting after?
I'm sorry, what?
Could we push it further to the meeting after? I'd had high hopes for getting back on the 9th with this, but I think it'd be safer to push it out one meeting
Oh,
further.
okay. So to April 2 and 7 and 9.
16.
16th. Commissioner Jackson amends her motion to the date of April 16th, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
We'll call on Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, then next up would be notice of intent 028307, 107 Wingershik Road. 125 LLC to replace existing single-family home and garage with pile-supported single-family home and garage, expansion of gravel driveway, installation of septic system, water service in coastal dune, barrier beach, land subject to coastal storm flowage, ACEC buffer zone, and ACEC in BVW. Joel Vavza of Legal Seaside Solutions representing.
Same drill, thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 028307 at 107 Wingershik Road, excuse me, to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 16th, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay, next up then is notice of intent 028320 to High Rock Terrace, Peter Carbone and Susan McNulty to raise and rebuild a single-family home and associated appurtenances in dune restoration within coastal dune, land subject to coastal storm flowage. Did I get it all? Nope. And buffer zone, the coastal resource area. Devin Tabler of Lucas Environmental LLC representing.
I'm actually stepping in for Devin tonight. It's our understanding that you've received a proposal from Beals and Thomas to do third-party review that the agent has recommended. And so if the board is willing to accept that tonight, the applicant is willing to acquiesce and get that funded so we can get the third-party review moving.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve Beals and Thomas as the third-party reviewer for the project at 2 High Rock Terrace, NOI 028320.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call on Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Down to Kirk Road, is that correct?
Yes.
Notice of intent 028-3022, 3 Kirk Road, Greg Souza.
Sorry, do we have to continue that last one?
I'm sorry,
Do we have to
what?
continue to High Rock Terrace?
Oh, I guess we do need to.
At least a month.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283020 at 2 High Rock Terrace to the meeting of April 16th, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Patiri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Peter.
Peter.
Sorry to interrupt.
That's someone's
No.
keeping up. I'm racing through this. I gotta slow down. Okay, next is notice of intent 0283022 Kirk Road. For Greg Souza to raise and rebuild existing home, installation of a pool, and relocation of an existing pier and riverfront and buffer zone to coastal resource areas. John Judd Gateway Consultants, Inc., representing. Seeing John.
John should be promoting now.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, John Judd, engineer with Gateway Consultants, representing Greg Souza for this project at 3 Kirk Road. Just a recap, we did appear before the board on the 5th, and there were some questions and requests to expand the salt marsh plantings, which we have done with a revised plan on the 10th, which was submitted to you on the 11th. Additionally, there was a request to address the redevelopment standards for the proposed work and whether there was additional work. I think Peter had requested that we tabulate the area of the work that is proposed closer to the riverfront area from what exists now. If you'd like, I can pull up my screen, or we can just discuss it. It's up to you. I can bring that up if you'd like.
Everyone wants.
This is the revised plan showing the, can you see that, everybody? Okay, so we added quite a bit more salt marsh plantings here. There was a question from Mr. Sargent whether the species type would match, and that would be a requirement under the note here. We're adding 700 square feet here, and on the other side of the proposed pier, another 110. You can see the limits of what was survey located here. So we're quite a bit of increase in plantings of marsh grass to hopefully really improve that area along the Mill River. Also, we've added the note number 7 on the plan that pertains to the riverfront and the area that was requested by Peter at the last meeting. Specifically the area of approximately 1,600 square feet of hardscapes that are proposed closer to the river, but we're providing over 3,200 square feet of riverfront plantings as well as marsh grass plantings to improve the riverfront in accordance with 310 CMR 1058-5 sections F and G. So that is just a brief description of where we left off, and can answer any questions that you might have. I believe Mr. Souza is also on the line, and we can answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Judd. Okay, Mr. Judd, first up, I'll open up for public comment. Anybody in the public who wishes to speak for or against the project at 3 Kirk Road may do so now.
We do have 18 attendees on Zoom, and we have one hand up. Michelle's iPad.
Hi, this is,
Oh, boy.
so,
Usually that means you have two phones on somewhere nearby.
I did do that because I had such a hard time,
Fine now.
hearing everybody. So this is Michelle Cahill at 33 Hodgkin Street. Is it stopped?
Yes,
Have-
you're fine now.
Okay. So our concerns were just, that how the dock was going to be built and also that the pool excavation doesn't compromise the oak tree that affords us privacy between the two homes and also takes the banking down. So just hope that you address those two concerns. The oak trees put in there like a tiny dot, but it's a large oak tree that I'm sure the roots would go where the pool's going to be excavated, and that's my concern, that it's going to come down. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with their hand up, Chuck?
There's nobody in the audience and no other attendees on Zoom with their hands up.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public comment period. Commissioner roll call comments next.
Member Cook,
No additional comments.
Member Sergeant,
Yes, this project's been quite lengthy, and in order to lessen undue burden on the applicant, I would be okay with approval under the following conditions. A formal letter from the abutter that they're okay with the dock placement will be submitted before commencing construction. The salt marsh restoration must be overseen by a wetland scientist that has had experience with salt marsh restoration, with monitoring updates being submitted to the Conservation Commission. That DMF's comments be incorporated into the conditions. All pier and floating dock materials must not contain a marine biocide. The floating dock must be anchored by helical anchors to minimize impacts. The float must be removed seasonally and may not be stored in the marsh, and the pool must be not allowed to discharge into the marsh or the shellfish flats. All work on the pier installation and removal will be conducted from the shore and not by barge. There should be a 2-year monitoring for the mortality mitigation plantings, and all dewatering must be adequately treated before being discharged. Thank you.
Member Viteri,
I have no additional comments.
Member Golo,
No additional comments from me as well.
Member Jackson.
I agree with Mr. Sargent's comments and also just want to ensure that the area between the stone block wall and the marsh grass planting is also filled in with your salt tolerant plants. I saw you had a mix installed. I just want to make sure that goes all the way across.
Okay, Mr. Judd. Chuck, anything to add, I should say? Before we-
Yeah, I just want to reiterate, that nothing will be stored on that area that's restored in the salt marsh. I think a large part of the reason it's so degraded is the current use of it for storage of the floats and stuff. So any launching of boats or storage of anything like that, really should be done from the pier and the dock that's being built and not from the salt marsh.
Excellent. Thanks, Chuck.
Thank
All
you all for the comments. All are acceptable. There's no issue with any of those. Those are fairly standard comments, and the seasonal float would not be stored on that newly planted area. It would be brought to an upland area. I think as far as the tree roots in the wall, obviously, Mr. Souza wants to maintain that tree as well. If they'll take great care on that, and if needed, they can do a pre-cut. And there are techniques, as you know, to prior to the excavation, any roots that could be done could be cut and healed in situ, and then give that some time to heal up, and then have the excavator perform the needed earthwork without damaging the roots. But it is definitely his intent to keep that tree. And obviously the wall, we don't want that wall to collapse, and we don't see any issue with that due to the setbacks that we're providing. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners, we ready to close the hearing? Anything
Okay.
else? Chuck to add before we close? Nope. All right.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing at NOI 0283022 at 3 Kirk Road.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve NOI 0283022 at 3 Kirk Road with the aforementioned conditions.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up is notice of intent 0283036, 3, 6, and 7 Welch Lane and Woodman Street, RDL Welch Lane LLC for road stormwater system construction of utility installation in buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. Joel Favazza of Seaside Legal Solutions representing.
Commissioner Sargent recuses.
All right, sir. So noted.
For the record, Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal, 123 Main Street, here on behalf of the applicant, just by way of update. As was noted by the commission at the last meeting, there is some actual resource area impact that wasn't shown on the plan. We're in the process of having that plan updated. We've asked to have third-party reviewers provide proposals, but it's been recommended to us that we wait for the updated plan set to be ready before it goes out for bid. So if that's the will of the commission, then I'm guessing we should probably push this out for a month because that'll give us time to submit the updated plan, for Chuck to submit the proposal out for bid and hopefully receive something back. So in a month, we can talk about signing someone on.
Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283036 at 3, 6, and 7 Welch Lane and Rear Woodman Street to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 16th, 2025.
Have a second?
Mr. Sargent's recused, so we need somebody else to second.
Commissioner Cook seconds.
There you go.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay. See you in a month.
Chuck, just administrative issue on that one. Can you put the other NOI files from 028 1757 and 028 1933 into this project folder just so we can look at the other NOIs that I think we had a question about there being other projects that might have had no disturb zones or issues with that. I want to see the plans and everything lines up.
Yes, those are all older files and currently all on paper, but we will copy those and get those into the folder.
Okay. Moving along. Are you done, Mr. Verazza?
I
You
have
all set?
one.
Okay.
The next one, then I'll be out of here.
Okay, notice of intent 0283035, 211 East Main Street, John Alexander, for replacement of a degraded piles in existing piers in coastal resource area. Joel Favazza of Legal Seafood Solutions represent.
The record, Commissioner Sargent has returned.
Welcome back. And once again, for the record, Joel Favazza, Seaside Legal Solutions, 123 Main Street. I'm here on behalf of John Alexander. He is the trustee owner of 211 East Main Street. He's also the owner-operator of the Beacon Marine Basin Marina. The bit of cleanup we had on this was to recalculate and resubmit payment for the fees. We took care of that. We've measured the linear foot of both fingers of the pier on site and use that as the distance. And then the other issues, we're waiting for DMF to see if they had any additional comments. The suggestion was made at the last discussion that we would convert this into a perpetual order that needs to be renewed that would allow them going forward to replace up to 20 piles per year per the established protocol that you would put into this order. The only suggested amendment I had to the language that I believe Chuck had from DMF was that it'd be clear that they're allowed to replace the 40 they're asking for now and then 20 per year thereafter. We just don't want to get limited to 20 per year when we have 40 that need to get done first. And then going forward, it'd be 20 per year with all the protocols that are in that condition set.
Okay, let me just open up for public comment. Anybody in the public who wishes to speak for or against the project at 211 East Main Street may do so now. Seeing none, hearing none, close the public comment period. We'll move on to roll call commissioner comments.
Member Cook,
No additional comments.
Member Sergeant,
I'd like to incorporate Division of Fisheries and Harbor Master comments.
Member Lettieri,
No comments right now, but I reserve comments until we see the DMF comments.
Member Gullo,
No further comments from me either.
and Member Jackson.
No comments for me.
Okay. How far out?
Were we waiting for DMF comments?
I had spoken with DMF and they said that they would not have anything additional to what was previously discussed. And what I sent to Joel was basically what was included previously in the DPA pile replacement NOI that we had in place. And also we're working on another one that will be coming. So this would be consistent, basically allowing for a repair and reconstruction of existing structures, but not any changes or new structures to be built. It would limit the number of piles per year after the initial work to 20 piles per year. There'd be specific, no ground out of any barges, use of silk curtains and other sound and turbidity scour impact measures to decrease any impacts. Any of this type of work will also need to get a building permit through the building department. And then also that they'd have to give proper notification to Harbor Master Office, Building Commissioner, and myself prior to any upcoming work that's not part of this initial phase. And also that they'd have to have a Chapter 91 license submitted prior to any work.
So everything is all set as far as you're concerned.
Yes.
Close?
I don't think there's anything else to do.
Okay, good.
Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for NOI 0283035 at 211 East Main Street.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve NOI 0283035 at 211 East Main Street with the aforementioned conditions.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See you at the next one. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Okay, we're into new business. We're down to RDA 1820 20 Hart Street. Anthony DeSeo for expansion of a driveway in land subject to coastal storm flowage, buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. Anthony DeSeo representing. That gentleman here.
He is here and is promoting to panelists now.
Hey, sorry about that. Hello?
Yep.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Name and address for the record, sir?
My name is Anthony Dieso, and I'm at 20 Hart Street in Gloucester.
Okay, you're on.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess initially this whole driveway stemmed from, we had a sinking driveway that was, existing, I want to say maybe early nineties. And yeah, in the picture here, you can see some of the work. So this was the aftermath where we expanded. We did a 2-foot bump out. Originally, there was some kind of the previous owner had brick and blocks and all concrete, and there was just overgrown vegetation. And we just tried to kind of clean up what was going on there, and get rid of that sinkhole, because every winter it would all pool up, and just kind of the water would kind of stand um and make a mess. So when I contacted the city originally, we, I had let them know what was going on and let them say, hey, look, we're trying to flatten it out, get it as, you know, um, smooth as possible without having that water build up and freeze and everything else. So we did put a retaining wall, and then I added, for some vegetation, I added 4 evergreen trees in its place after the fact. And that's kind of where we're at now, right there.
Okay, so first off, I'm just sit back. I'm going to open up for public comment first, and then the commissioners are going to have a few questions, okay? So stay
Yeah.
on the line.
Okay.
Okay, so anybody in the public who wishes to speak for or against this project? If so, you may do so now.
We do not have any hands up on the Zoom and nobody here in the auditorium.
Okay, seeing none, hearing none, close the public comment period. Next up will be commissioner roll call comments.
Member Cook,
No comments.
Member Sergeant,
I know this is an after the fact submittal, but I'm just wondering if it would be beneficial to plant some native vegetation closer to the rear of the property by the Phragmites as mitigation.
Member Viteri,
My question is where the rainwater flows off the driveway. Does it go towards the marsh or does it go towards the street?
It all pitches towards the street.
Member Gullo,
Nothing else to add this time. I think that covers.
Member Jackson,
What did you resurface the driveway with? What is the surface now?
It's asphalt.
What was it though?
Yes. Yeah, it was asphalt prior. Yes.
What was the mixed fill brick concrete block that was removed?
That was just all material, because I guess over time, the driveway, as it was sinking, they were kind of filling it with harder material to keep it from settling. And that was kind of all that was there, kind of retaining the driveway from the slope.
Okay, what have you done to keep it from settling now?
So we actually built like it's a Teco block wall that they kind of interlock into each other, and it's only 3 feet high, but high enough just to keep the retaining portion of the wall up of the driveway there, to keep it from settling going down. So that's buried a foot beneath the grade. And I think the tallest block is it's 3 blocks high at the highest. So it stands with the cap. I want to say it's a little under 4 feet at the
Okay.
backside.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Chuck?
yeah, I don't really have any issues with this. It's really not so much of an expansion of the overall footprint. It's more that this area here is now a, vertical retaining wall, where originally it was, a sloped fill wall. So it's, basically just kind of created a larger flat portion for the drive.
Do you see the need for more vegetation towards the resource areas?
That's up to the commission. You know, he did plant several arborvitae along the fence line. More native plants never hurts, but that's up to you.
Would you be willing to put in a few more plants, sir?
Sure, absolutely. I
Closer
plan on cleaning it up a little bit more as I go, and we've done a bunch of plantings out front, and we're just kind of chipping away at it, but absolutely.
Hey, Peter, do you want to be more precise on that? Like what you would like?
I don't know. I don't know. That looks like they're, how big was the bump out, I guess, in terms of square footage?
I want to say about 120 feet, roughly.
Yeah, I think we need a little more. I don't see why we shouldn't add to that.
I mean, that looks like there's additional impervious surface to me.
Yeah, maybe 100 square feet of plantings, something like that, of native plantings. Is that workable for you, sir?
Yeah.
The key is with these plantings, sir, is to make sure they're pushed or put towards the resource area itself, ideally, if it can.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, if there ends up to be a problem, like you're just not seeing the room, please come talk to the agent.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Not
Okay,
a
I
problem.
think we're set. Excuse me. Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for RDA 1820 at 20 Hart Street.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve RDA 1820 at 20 Hart Street with the aforementioned, nope. Commissioner Jackson moves for a negative determination for RDA 1820 at 20 Hart Street with the aforementioned conditions.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes, and thank you for coming in, Mr. Diaso.
Yeah.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate you hearing me.
Okay,
All right. Bye-bye.
bye now.
For the record, Commissioner Gullo is stepping aside. We'll be recusing.
Okay. Next up is RDA 1823 at 26 High Rock Terrace, Wendy Lip, pool and patio construction in existing foundation in buffer zone to coastal bank, represented by John Judd, Gateway Consultants, Inc.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Once again, John Judd, engineer with Gateway Consultants, representing the applicant for this request for determination at 26 High Rock Road. This is a project that was previously approved through a negative determination of applicability for, I'll share my screen to show the original plan. This is a reconstruction of a existing house that is currently under construction. And on the same footprint, at that time, when it was approved previously, we did have calculations to show the increase in proposed planting. And I just want to go over some of those numbers with you. So we had an increase of approximately 36 square feet of impervious area as part of this project. So the house you can see here is being reconstructed. There was a patio back here that is proposed within the same footprint of the concrete foundation that was supporting that patio. Is proposed to be a shallow pool in the same exact footprint here. There would be a reduced patio that would be rebuilt, and that would be pervious in that former footprint as well. So we're proposing, as part of that original proposal, over approximately 500 square feet of native mitigation plantings that the board had requested some additional plantings, which are proposed here and that was previously approved. So essentially, we're looking to basically a negative determination request for this proposed pool within an existing foundation. We did submit photographs. I'm not sure if that's something that the board wants to look at or had a chance to look at, but we can answer any questions at this time. That's a brief presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I will open this up for public comment. As a reminder, public comment is limited to 3 minutes for concerns that are related to the Conservation Commission's area of jurisdiction. Is there anyone in the public who wishes to comment on the project at 26 High Rock Terrace?
We do have 12 attendees on Zoom with one hand up. See our guest.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. This is Catherine Ryan at 17 High Rock. I'm in a butter. I'm also speaking for other neighbors. I'm going to do 3 points, and if time, I'm going to detail some others. Number one, the public notice in the paper. The RDA legal notice states the Gloucester Conservation Commission will open public hearings, that ad. Once you scroll down the CONCOM page and click the link to the filed applications, you have the option to browse through years 2019 to 2025. Wendy Lippy, 26 High Rock Terrace, 180-16, pool and patio construction in existing foundation and buffer zone is not to be found in those filed applications in the years 2019, 2025 that are linked. Irregardless of this recent ad, which was a surprise to the neighbors, I went to Pond Road weeks prior to the ad to see if any new things were happening in the plan file for this abandoned site, which has been undergoing things from 2018 to 2025 now. The contents of this massive file for this project were scrubbed. I do have copies of the papers that had been there. Number two, about tonight's agenda. I've served on committees, and in my experience, the chair is responsible for the agenda. Since the chair of this committee is also the architect for the property, why is this pool, the new pool, added to the agenda considered new business rather than old, since it's been the same project he's been involved with since 2017? Moreover, why hasn't this item landed in the violations section on the agenda? Because his own mitigation notes on his architectural permitted plans have not been adhered to. The through line for the path of this property and conservation concerns surrounding it go back to June 14, 2009, and they pick up with Mr. Gullah, CONCOM member and chair and architect for this property since 2017-2018. I have video, I have photos, I have an extensive timeline. I sent it to all of you. I will go back in detail. But point number three, I'll go back to point number two with the detail of the timeline. But point number three, the pool and patio construction in existing foundation in the buffer zone to the coastal bank is a bait and switch. Nothing says conservation protocol like supersizing a house in a no-build zone, then adding a pool directly on the ocean that you promised wouldn't be built there because the property was described as such a hardship. Nothing could be done but move the house. So they moved the house to put in a pool. And if you look at the plans that were permitted, not the ones that were just shown by the new contractor that was brought in, all subcontracting under your chair. It's very awkward to even have to say this because Bob is the chair. You know, the switching the flowers to have the pool and that's the plan. No, if you look at the permitted plan where they were granted relief to do this entire project, 4 special permits and 4 variances, it says that that is going to be retained. And it's actually, it was solid concrete and worked as part of flood mitigation for the entire neighborhood. So I am absolutely on here for opposition. And on top of it, it has been essentially an abandoned project since 2018, since the storm. 3 other properties that were damaged, our neighbors at the same time rebuilt immediately. This has just been changed with new iterations and women folly. And in the meantime, they have left a digger, they've left a porta potty that falls all over time. They have trash all over the place. Their construction stuff, 2 years goes by with nothing happening. And, you know, their debris going down into the ravine, the porta potty going into the street or into the ravine. If they can't even adhere to the mitigation notes that he put on his own plans, there was no dust control. There's no care or concern for this entire thing. And that is about, it isn't just about putting in some new flowers in a new pool because you know how to do new plans on a project. So I would like to have those points answered and those concerns answered. And it isn't about the new contractor that was brought in under Bob as a subcontractor. And I'm going to go back to the timeline. I'm just going to do 6 of them. On June 14th, 2009, 3 truckloads of cement were poured beneath the 5-bedroom home that was there to help the new owner obtain flood insurance. That was the concrete that was removed and sort of blasted in the front where they're moving the house. Since then, this year in the fall, they were blasting out that wall that Bob Gullah got up in front of the night that they got the granted permission to go ahead and build, got up and said, no, we got rid of the hot tub pool. There's not going to be any pool with this plan. So he said it to the ZBA, he said it to the entire public. In 2017, the owner filed plans designed by Mr. Gullah to enlarge the home and to build a hot tub and oceanside betterments. In March 2018, 4 homes were pummeled, including that one. And although those plans were approved and in place, the owner changed course to a more ambitious and larger expansion. In February 2019, the owner sought relief for variances and special permits because it was such a hardship, because of flood plans, because of everything. The site was untenable because of storms, flood damage, conservation, flood rating, everything. On June 29, 2022, the property was granted another 6-month extension. January 2023 rolled around, the structure still wasn't inhabited or demoed. The architect, your Concom chair, signed off on his own project permits, the demo paperwork, not the construction person. Last day of January of that 2023, they started to do the demo finally. Demo construction mitigation plans were flouted during the entire demo. They're still flouted now. February 2023, our city councilor for Ward 1 encouraged me to speak to city council. So again, this is not something that was permitted and planned according to what is being described tonight. I don't understand why it's under new business. I don't understand why the poor guy who's doing the driveway gets more attention and questions than this project. This is more favoritism than any project I've heard come through. So we're talking since 2018. Please, or go back to to ZBA and have this project start from scratch. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who wishes to comment?
I do not see any other hands up on Zoom or in the auditorium.
Okay, I'll close the public comment period. We'll go through commissioner comments and agent comments, and then the applicant will respond.
Member Cook? Nope. Okay. Member Cook?
I'm gonna withhold my comments, but I believe we need, based on some of the allegations that were made by the abutters, I think it's in our best interest to go back and look at what was previously done and what was previously approved. Based on our comments, I don't feel comfortable with this at all.
Member Sargent?
I'd like a 2-year monitoring for the mortality of mitigation plantings and all the watering to be adequately treated before being discharged.
Member Thierry?
I guess I would just note that concerns about ZBA permitting are not really in our purview, and we can't really do anything about that. It's an issue that should be taken up with the ZBA. I guess I'd like to see the previous approvals too, in terms of what was approved on our end. Of course, we can't look at any approvals that were made for special permits or variances or anything like that from the ZBA. We can only look at previous orders of conditions and plans that were submitted for that. So I guess I would take some more time to consider that. In terms of the project now, it seems it's a new filing, so that's why it's new business. I would like to see a condition or maybe an order to immediately secure the site from any trash or debris entering into resource areas. So I guess I'd withhold further comment until I have a chance to sort of review any of the previous filings in front of us.
Member Jackson?
We do have to consider the application in front of us, which is for the pool in a current patio. The chairperson has recused from this project. And Chuck, you've been out to this site several times, I believe. Can you elaborate on your findings and also comment on where the current NOI stands?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm sorry you weren't able to find the files for this. I'm happy to help you navigate. I do know our system is not the easiest to search and find things, but those files are on the public drive. I have been out to that site probably at least a dozen times over the past couple years. I understand your frustrations with an ongoing project next to you, but every time I've been out there, I have not observed anything that has not been permitted occurring on site. The one time I did note that there was two small cut pieces of rebar that had fallen down into the gully, and those were subsequently removed. But other than that, I have not witnessed anything outside of what has been approved by the commission.
And where does the NOI stand? Is that still active and under an extension?
RDA. So the original RDA expired, and they came in a couple months back, and because there's no way to extend an RDA, and so they filed for a new RDA to continue the work out there.
Okay, thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion? I have no objections to the project. It's not expanding the footprint. It's not really having any further impact on resource areas. Is there any further discussion?
You want to allow Mr. Judd to respond?
Yes, I guess that would be the next thing. Mr. Judd.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and members of the board. By all means, the applicant is more than willing to if there's any trash or anything blowing into the ravine, I'll certainly pass that along. But this is the first I'm hearing of that. And certainly if the porta potty tips over, that's obviously an issue that would be taken care of. They really want to get mobilized out here and get this project done. I understand the frustration of the neighborhood. Seeing a construction site is not in anyone's best interest. They want to get this done sooner than later. But I would agree that there's no filling, there's no grading. All we're doing is proposing within an existing foundation to be replaced with a pool. There's going to be nothing in terms of filling or grading, and the mitigation planting it remains. So that's all I have to say, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Judd, is there a possibility that the porta potty could be moved for two reasons? A, so it's less accessible to members of the public and other interested passersby, and B, so that if it does tip over, it does not drain into the resource area?
Sure, I'm sure that can be accommodated, but it's a very tight site. Certainly having some type of tethering system so it ensures that there is no tipping during these wind events that we've had. But as far as relocating it, I can certainly ask the contractor to address that and make sure that does happen.
Okay, thank you very much.
One other question that was brought up earlier today is it didn't show any location for any kind of pump or heater, or any of the electronics that would go along with the pool. Is there going to be any mechanical areas or addition?
Yeah, if I could, Madam Chair. So that would be internally situated. That's the proposal. It's a saltwater pool. So the filtering system is less than what you would have with a chlorine-based pool. And again, this is a fairly small pool relative to other swimming pools. It's shallow. It's more of a plunge pool, if you will. And the equipment is fairly small with that, and that can go on the inside.
Okay, and should there be a need to drain it, where would that go?
Again, this is a saltwater pool, so they would be, there should not be a need for it. If it is drained, obviously they'd, take all precautions necessary to avoid dumping that into the resource area and maybe back inland toward the steep street drainage system. But again, it's salt water. There's no chlorine in this filtering system.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion from the commissioners? Okay, seeing none, hearing none, I'll move on. I will entertain a motion for a negative determination or
Yeah, close
or
the
a
public
positive
hearing.
one. For RDA 1823 with the conditions of 2-year monitoring for vegetation, treating dewatering, and tethering the porta potty with possible exploration of relocation and drainage of the pool if needed to be away from the resource area. And I think reviewing the history of the other site, the rest of the history of the site really is a separate issue. But I think I agree with those commissioners who were concerned about that. It should be done. Do
You
I hear
need to
such a
close the
motion?
public hearing.
I'm sorry, what was that, Bill?
You need to close the public hearing.
You're right. Would you like to make that motion?
Commissioner Cook moves to close the public hearing for RDA 1823 at 26 High Rock.
Commissioner Sargent seconds?
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
No, because I do want to take more time to review the prior plans. I don't know if the applicant's okay with the continuance, but I would like to see what the prior approval was, just to, compare it to what's going on here now. I've never personally seen this project. I know probably other commissioners have been on here longer than me that have seen it, but I would like to take some extra time to consider it.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Okay, it passes. I'll hear a motion for a determination on the RDA.
So moved.
Or negative or positive?
Correct.
Which
For a
you
negative
do.
determination.
Negative, okay,
Commissioner
thank
Cook?
you.
Okay, Commissioner Cook moves for negative determination for RDA 1823 at 26 High Rock.
Commissioner Sargent seconds?
Roll call, Member Cook,
Commissioner Cook abstains because he needs more information.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
I also abstain for more information.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Okay, so we have 2-2, so it doesn't pass. So does it become a positive determination?
Chair, if I could,
Yes.
Good. I'm sorry, if it's okay, as the applicant to ask for a reconsideration of that vote to allow more time?
Would you like to withdraw the vote at this time?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay. Who made the motion? Bill, do you want to withdraw your motion?
Commissioner Cook withdraws the motion for a negative determination for RDA 1823.
Do you want to also withdraw it for closing the hearing because there may be further discussion?
And to reopen the public hearing.
Commissioner Sargent seconds?
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Continuation?
Yep. When do you want to continue to, Mr. Judd?
If we could do it to the second, that would be great, Madam Chair. And then if there's anything that the applicant needs to provide, we'd be happy to do that. Or if it's just some more time for some members to take a look at the file, what was approved previously, just let us know what we need to do and we'd be happy to accommodate. Thank you.
Okay, so to the second?
Yes, please.
Okay, do I hear such a motion?
Commissioner Cook moves to move RDA 1823 to the meeting of April 20th, April 2nd.
Sergeant seconds?
Roll call on Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sergeant,
Yes.
Member Lettieri,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much.
you're very welcome. Next up, Commissioner Guller is returning. We have NOI 0283044. Here he comes. At 1 Gloucester Crossing Road, GH-PH1 LLC. Construction of overflow parking lots, widening of driveways and loading docks in isolated vegetated wetland, isolated land subject to flooding, and buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. Timothy Power, representing of PVI Site Design LLC. Take it away.
Take it away, huh?
1 Gloucester Crossing Road.
All right. 1 Gloucester Crossing. Next up, notice of intent 0283044, 1 Gloucester Crossing Road. Construction of overflow parking lots, widening driveway and loading docks in isolated vegetated wetland area, subject to coast flooding. Buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetland. Timothy Power of PV1 Site Design LLC representing.
Hi, good evening.
Address address for the record?
Sure,
Made
Timothy
copy.
Power, PVI Site Design, actually of 18 Glendale Road, Norwood, not local to Gloucester. So as mentioned, we're here tonight for a notice of intent for some miscellaneous upgrades around Gloucester Crossing. There's 3 main components here. I got to talk about a little bit of history and what's driving this proposal tonight. The 3 main components are first some overflow parking and parking areas on the Building H site that was sometimes known as the ALR site of Gloucester Crossing or pad site. There's a bit of roadway widening near the fields, the Green Street Playground and Fields section, and then related to that also is a request to widen the loading dock area behind Market Basket. So how we got here too, I know I was not part of the original design or development team of the project. I did work for the owner for some time and helped with some of the phase 2 information. So I've done some historical research. I'm told maybe some were here during when the shopping center itself was originally developed in 2008 and 9. As part of that, the Building H site and the ALR site that we are going to talk about tonight was contemplated. There was a building and parking and stormwater and infrastructure proposed as part of that. So it was approved to be disturbed. At the time of the original development, the pad was cleared, so to speak, and some earthwork done, and the pad got to generally to grade of what was proposed at that time. And then it was sort of left, been used for snow storage and various other items that are there. When that first happened, there was obviously the 2008-9 recession stopped some of the phase 2 construction that happened, jumped to about 2018 to 2020. The CVS building was built. The rest of the home goods in that corner of the shopping center was built out with all necessary approvals. The YMCA and Halyard project under separate ownership got constructed and built as well. Moving forward to today, as things have progressed, we now have the shopping center itself is just about full. There's been quite some success there. The Halyard project and the residents has really become a vibrant neighborhood with the YMCA and whatnot. Throughout this time, even from the day after Market Basket opened, they sought some additional parking for their employees. During that interim time, they parked over in where the CVS is now. But as that has filled out, they are now in need of some additional overflow parking. In addition to that, we introduced the Beauport Hotel as part of their special permit downtown. They have a need for satellite parking, for some additional parking. The original space they had permitted was taken away. I'm not sure the full backstory there, but they approached the owner of Gloucester Crossing to use that Building H pad site for satellite parking. So between those two needs, that's what's driving this piece of this. At the same time, the ball fields were improved with its own parking and expanded there. And because of the introduction of more patrons to that space, there became some concerns over safety, passing now more patrons to that field, families, while this is the main truck route into Market Basket and that loading zone as well. So those are our sort of driving catalysts, the history of how we got here. And I can talk a little more now about the individual proposals. And you can see here, I put just an overall site plan of where these sites are in relation to the rest of the shopping center. Some of this, to us kind of feels like housekeeping at this point. The shopping center has been open operating, the fields are there, and we sort of feel like we need these to make everything run a little more efficiently along the way. So I'll start with the, sorry, I'm just trying to go down my plane here. We'll start with the parking areas on the Building H pad site. I've added just some color quickly here just so everyone gets a reference of where the wetlands are and the buffer zone and what we're trying to do. On this particular portion of the site, the green and the wetlands here are bordering vegetated wetlands. So there's a buffer zone associated with that. That's by the dark green line. And what you see is that L-shaped parking. The parking to the top of the page will be used as the Beauport parking. And then to the left side will be the additional employee parking that's there. You can see a little bit to the right. I can kind of move around here. We left the record contour information here, lightly shown. That was as a result of the old 2008 developments up to the wetlands that are there. So this really becomes an isolated pad next to this parcel. We are further on in the plan set. We show stormwater. All of this will be will install their own chamber systems for each of these parking lots with treatment as outlined in our stormwater report, and it's all getting discharged to the left, plan left, away from these wetlands. There's existing infrastructure here, both that surface detention pond that you can see today on the left side of the plan, and then further down Schoolhouse Road, there's a large stormwater basin. This will feed into those, and we've designed this. We went back and looked at the old design by Crowe and Associates and subsequently Rich O'Connell Associates and modeled it based on that. So we set those designs as our existing conditions, if you will, and designed to make sure we were not impacting any of the downstream infrastructure or increasing flows in any way. You'll see the sort of the fat gray dashed line here in the middle. That's reserved for future developments. There still is opportunity and interest in building something there, either an assisted living or some other use. So the owner is in continual talks with people to try to get something done there. If in the future something is done on that pad, the applicant will certainly come back for necessary permits again to do that work. So we don't want to preclude that. We've left infrastructure in place to make future drainage connections and based our model on as if that were developed in the future, making some conservative assumptions on stormwater and impervious areas. Moving down sort of the next two pieces, we have the roadway widening. Oops, get to this. The roadway widening piece at the top of this page, and then the Market Basket loading dock as well. So the roadway widening is, again, two pieces. One, a section, the lower section here to the left of the bottom left of the plan that we're looking at, was actually completed as part of the ball fields improvements now by the DPW. We'd like to extend that same amount, that 1 lane or half a lane extension up into the Market Basket loading dock, and again do a little bit on the outside, just again to give some comfort to turning movements, a little bit extra space for the trucks and families that might be coming from the field or to the field, getting up to the shopping center for snacks, food, groceries, whatever they need to do afterwards. That's the driving factor. On one side of this, you can see the green. Again, this is the bordering vegetated wetland, the same system that is part of the proposed parking lot side of this project. On the bottom left side, and I'll scan down next to the loading area in yellow, and we're showing the isolated vegetated wetlands that's there today. So this portion of the project does have impacts to those wetlands. In addition to the isolated vegetated wetland, there's an isolated land subject to flooding delineated in that area as well. It is just a low isolated depression behind Market Basket that was there prior to the original development as well. So we're looking to do some filling there. Eventually I'll get on to the last page that has a little more detail on the wetland replication. You can see in the yellow here on the screen is the approximate outline of the wetland today with the overlay of what we're proposing to do. These dark hatches is where we're proposing to do our replication directly adjacent to the wetland area and digging out as we go. This section of the wetland was reflagged by Goddard Consulting. I do have Andrew Tybalt on the phone through Zoom if there's questions about that delineation. And he did actually go back out and hang flags along the parking lot, the Building H pad site as well. I'll just go through quickly the plans. You can see here the stormwater as we talked about. Each of these parking lots has its own chamber system. In the future, the development pad of the building will have its own system as well. If there are any questions, we did a deep dive on the old stormwater design. I'm happy to answer those specifically and what we looked at. And then on the last page here, I just wanted to bring up show the wetland replication areas in a little more detail for everyone, so you can see the steady gray areas are what's getting filled, and then the little hatch areas with the little pluses are the replication areas we're proposing. Down below, we have some notes and sequencing on wetland replication, the total acres and recommended plantings along the way. So I think that's a little bit of challenging construction here, but straightforward in what we're trying to do. So I'm happy to answer more questions or go into more detail of any aspects of the project.
Okay, Sarah, just to do a little house cleaning right out of the beginning, out of the gate. Do we have anybody who's for or against this project out there? Yep, name and address, come on up. If you don't mind stepping aside, sir, thank you. Name and address for the record, please.
Mary Beth Quinn, 18 Green Street.
Okay.
So I'm I just have concerns. Our property abuts the wetlands. So my parents are on 14, we're at 18, and we've been told that there's wetlands behind us. The loading dock that they're going to extend is probably maybe 60 feet from our property. And my first concern is the wetlands that, environmentally it's going to be protected. As you heard, for the last over a decade, our neighborhood has been bombarded with tons of construction. Gloucester Crossing, the new field, and the environmental impact has been unbelievable. When we used to hear animals behind us, we see coyotes and rabbits and everything in our streets and in the yard. So that's my first concern. The second one is the impact of how big the loading dock is going to be. Right now, when they unload their groceries, sometimes at like 4:30 in the morning, their trucks beep for up to an hour. It's not so bad in the winter, but in the summer when our doors are open and our windows are open, it's a huge violation of, just sound pollution. So that's my second concern. If this expansion isn't going to hurt us environmentally and it's going to help that noise pollution, I can get behind it. I'm just concerned that that might not necessarily be the case. And like I said, our small little neighborhood has been bombarded for over a decade with new developments, new changes, and changes to the environment, just what we have in our neighborhood. So I grew up at 14. I now own 18. And it doesn't look the same as it did 45 years ago. So that's a big concern for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak for or against?
We do have one attendee on Zoom, their hand up, Mary Ann Boucher.
Hi, good evening. Mary Ann Boucher, 93 Mount Pleasant Avenue. Forgive me, I just discovered this today when looking at the agenda for this evening. But I'd like to know, first of all, will this be going to city council for approval? Will there be a public hearing on this? I ask because I want to know, does the granting of this permit, or I should say, does this project need to be approved for the city to have access to the Green Street softball field? As we know right now, there is no full access to the Green Street softball field site. And curious to know if it hinges on the approval of this. And I also would like to know, will there be a wetland evaluation on this site as well, as you spoke of in previous applicants? Because as Mary Beth Quinn, I think that's who just spoke, there should be. There's not much forest land left. And I drove by there this afternoon, and that's a deep gully. And we really should have more information on it. And I really would like to know, I'd like to have an answer, is this going to the city council for approval? And does this need to be approved to gain access for the Green Street softball site? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else for or against the project?
We have no other hands up in the auditorium or on Zoom.
Seeing none, hearing none, I'll close the public comment period.
Yep, you can read. Sure, thank you.
So just to respond to one of them, the loading dock size growing, I just want to point out that Market Basket is not expanding their building, so there shouldn't be any increase in use there. We're just trying to make maneuverability around that area safer and better. So I can understand their concerns with the noise of that operation there, but there's no growth of the store itself. So we wouldn't anticipate more trucks coming in and out, just the better ability to move around that's there. I do know the wetland impacts that are there. Obviously, this board will address specifically. The isolated land subject to flooding is there. We don't see any impacts from stormwater overflowing or being pushed anywhere else. As we noted in our reports, the modifications that are made, it's such a big area and such an isolated area that when we study a 100-year storm, which is close to 9 inches of rain now, nothing overflows out of that low area. The changes we're making result in about a 2-inch change in depth, 1.5 inches to 2 inches of depth overall with all the changes we're making. I did want to introduce Deb Ellison, who can address the access question.
Good evening, Deborah Ellison, Ellison Law Office, 63 Middle Street, Gloucester. There is no permit that needs to go before the City Council. Currently, Market Street is a private way, and the city does have permission from the owner of the private way, which is Gloucester Crossing, to use that for access. And once the road is widened and made safe, there is discussion of granting a permanent easement.
Thank you. Roll call, Commissioner Collins? Yep.
Yep.
Do you want to close the public?
Member Cook.
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions. Just trying to put it all together. First off, the section where they're widening where the loading dock is, if anybody's ever been on that road when they're trying to back the trailers in there, this doesn't even do justice to fixing that problem. If you ever go around that bend of the road, you see the guardrails are all beat to hell. Because the trucks have to go up on the sidewalk all the time, just to make the bend to get in there. So it doesn't do anything for helping that situation. I mean, it's going to make it wider, perhaps to go around behind the building, but definitely not gonna do anything to help getting into that first loading dock. Second, I'm a little confused as to where the additional parking is going to go. That, I just, I thought it was gonna go over where it says building H site. I mean, we know there's no building there now. And I need some more about what's gonna go on in there too. But I'm not sure where those additional parking spots are gonna go. That's it.
Sergeant.
Yes, I'd like a breakdown regarding any vegetation that's proposed to be removed, both quantity and quality, particularly woody plants, trees, and shrubs. I'm not really a fan of wetland replication, except in areas where hydric soils already exist. I would like to review soil logs for the proposed areas of replication for viability and to ensure that ledge and dense glacial till are not present. Wetland replication should have an extended period of monitoring for mortality, as it's a complicated and not always a successful process. And is there any potential for invasive species removal? Thank you.
Member Viteri.
My only question is to the commission whether we should have a third-party reviewer analyze for stormwater and compliance with the performance standards and assessment of the replication plan.
I did want to offer that city engineering has signed off on the stormwater modifications for this, if that changes anything. Sure. Member Gullo?
Okay, so this goes back a long time when this facility was made. And I was with the group at the time that was discussing how to make that loop work. And they've never been able to, or never were able to. And one of them was, I think it was me and the administration a while ago, we came up and just realized that the flora and fauna would be destroyed just by having that ring of, there's no way for an animal to ever get out. So are you planning or have you ever done any habitat review of that area is what I'm getting at, I guess. And then if so, and there is habitat, how is that going to affect that habitat?
Member Jackson.
Yes, I had two questions. One is it possible for part or additional part of the mitigation or additional to the currently proposed mitigation to do any kind of sound barrier in the form of tall vegetation to help the neighbors with the sounds of the trucks? Second of all, on the first slide you showed where you mentioned you were reserving for building, excuse me, I know assisted living had been talked about. I think a hotel might have been mentioned at one point, and then Beauport may have scotched that idea, but that still could be raised. If that happens, the two parking areas you've proposed, one is for Market Basket employees and the other is for Beauport. Where are you going to put these cars that would go with future development? Is there going to be more parking proposed? So those are my two questions.
Anything else, commissioners? Anyone else? Yep. Did you have anything to add, Chuck?
I have nothing additional.
Your chance for a rebuttal, sir, or a discussion?
Sure. Some of this I think might need a little bit more study. I just want to make sure I got my notes. I appreciate the comments of the improvements don't necessarily do justice to what's needed. We do think it does improve it, makes it safer, albeit, it's not most ideal because of the curve that's there, but we think that what we're proposing will help those turning movements quite a bit, getting in and out of that loading dock. The parking that's there on the assisted living site, the building H pad site, there were those two lots shown on those plans. And that's where it's going to go. We're not proposing any other parking anywhere else on the site other than those 2 lots. To segue into the question someone had about what are we going to do with the future builds, inside of that future development area will be the building and whatever parking it needs to support it. We know that we're sort of eating into the land available for that use. We did do some scenarios, which we're happy to share. They're fully conceptual, almost proof of concept that we could fit a building that could comfortably fit a uses, either an ALR use that's approved for that spot today, or some other use with its own set of parking in front. So those 2 components stay kind of separated yet incorporated in, so it looks like one site together. The comments about the vegetation around, logging in what's removed and then what's going to be replaced. I think we certainly can look into that with a little more time. Some soil logs that are there. And the way I'd understand those soil logs are almost more auger soil logs versus deep holes. Okay, I want to make sure I had that clear. The monitoring we acknowledge, I think in our sequence, it may talk about monitor that, but that's a perfectly normal condition. Invasive species removal is something we certainly can evaluate what's there, and since we're there with heavy machinery and other equipment and manpower, we can accommodate that. There was a question about the peer review. The habitat review with the ring of road through there. I don't know if anything's been done since the development. There was extensive review done as part of the original development, and that those wetland system next to the ALR site in between the shopping center and there, that we can certainly look back into that if more information is needed as well. The sound barrier, also have to talk to the owners, see if that's something there that's a little bit more vegetation, maybe okay. We'll be doing some planting in there. And I answered that one for the additional car. So yes, and Deb has something to add. Yes.
Again, Deborah Ellison, just to clarify some of the questions about the parking lot and where it's located. So to orient you a little bit, this is Market Street. This is Market Basket. Over here is Halyard Apartments. So it's right on that corner. And the parking lots we have specifically reserved a building area. The owner has been trying for many, many years to get an assisted living tenant in there and has not been successful. One of the problems is that that site is really too small for the current model of ALR. At the time it was approved, they didn't have every facility that someone needed to move through their life stages, whereas now that's what they do. So the owner is currently in talks with a local nonprofit to put in a senior housing, affordable housing in that location. If those go to fruition, we will obviously be back to conservation, also be back before the city and other boards for permission for that. And their parking will be on that site that's shown in the dotted lines. We do believe that even though the loading dock and the access up to the loading dock won't be perfect, it's certainly going to make a big difference in the safety along Market Street, as well as the safety of the loading dock and the trucks pulling in and out of there. So overall, we think of these as improvements. And the Beauport parking, I want to make clear, they currently have parking for their off-site parking, which meets the special permit requirements. It's at 99A Essex Avenue, which requires that they go over the cut bridge. And so the idea is that this will be a much more reliable location for them. And that's why they're looking to relocate it here. The building inspector has recently approved this relocation as meeting the standards of the special permit. I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Commissioner, comments, questions?
Peter had mentioned the need for a third-party review, or if people felt that was necessary. Don't care.
Yeah, no, the only reason I'd say to do it would be is that it's just a very complex site. And there's a
Yes,
lot of
it is.
vegetation and there is, I hate to make people do it, but this is why we started on this road of getting it done, because it's just too much for us to take in.
Yeah, my only suggestion was is this stormwater aspects of it are very technical, but if the city engineers sort of done their own kind of peer review of it and are okay with it, then I'm satisfied with that. Yeah, the rest of it, we can assess performance standards, and Dave, I you have a lot of good comments on the replication issue, so I think that addresses my concerns.
The wetland replication is my main concern, is that area for, the loading dock. All the rest seems pretty straightforward.
I'd be interested too, I mean, not to make you do unnecessary work, but if this project goes through in the end through this commission as well, it'd be interesting to see. I don't know if there's any way to check the data from, I'm not sure, I think it was Bill Manuel who did the original project, reviewed it. But, is it compared to, if you could go back and just look without overdoing it, I'd be interested to know how the wetland in that, there is that one large wetland, right when you're pulling in, and if that has any habitat in it as well. The project is not there. I'm just curious if while you're picking through those papers, if you could let us know if much has changed. Your wetland person is going to have to go in there at some point anyways, and just take a peek and see if it's holding its own. I'd be interested to see that.
And if you could consider some kind of natural sound barrier for the neighbors, that would be lovely.
And if I may, if you're looking at invasive species removal, or not only that gully with loading platform is, but there's also that isolated area that could be used as mitigation for the whole project, would be acceptable to me.
Okay, anything else? Chuck, anything to add? Okay, we'll have to continue, I guess, correct?
I think so, to get some of that information to you.
Yeah, how far out would you like to go? About a month,
I would put it at the 16th of April.
16th April, okay.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson moves to continue NOI 0283044 at 1 Gloucester Crossing Road to the Conservation Commission meeting of April 16th, 2025.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Call Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Syria,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
have a good night.
You too.
All right, as we move down the road, we got amendment 0283033, Old Nugent Farm Road, Old Nugent Farm Road Condominium Association. Amendment to the NOI 0283003 to repave roadways and driveways and pave walkways in riverfront area within land subject to coastal storm flowage, buffer zone to bordering vegetative wetland. Thor Akerly of William and Sparagus representing.
Hi, good evening. Thor Akerly, professional wetland scientist from Williams and Sparagus, representing the Old Nugent Farm Road Condominium Association, 189 North Main Street, Middleton, Mass. Tonight, we're here before you describing an amendment to an existing order of conditions that was applied for last summer. In June, we had filed a notice of intent on behalf of the association for the replacement of existing decks on the property. The property has been undergoing a number of improvements, which include roofs, windows, decks, and then now they're looking at the roadway as well. If it makes sense, I can share my screen here with everyone. So we have 4 sheets on the attached plan set. I can highlight and go through them quickly just to explain, the resource areas, some of the measures that were proposed to be undertaken during construction. So this is phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the Old Nugent Farm Road condominiums. One is located over here, and this is where the supermarket is, and the plaza over here to the left. Old Nugent Farm Road comes in off Barn Lane and then wraps up around the condos. So really, they're just proposing a wholesale replacement of the roadway. It was built in the 80s or so, I believe, when the development was permitted. Along with that, they're also proposing to replace these internal parking areas for the units. These areas in here, and then on a number of them, there's small paved walkways, about 4 feet wide, that connect from the paved driveways to the condominium units. Over in this portion of the project, there's a perennial stream. It's mapped as a perennial stream that flows from a pond up in this area here. This was an area that appeared to have been widened or manipulated in some fashion back when the development was constructed. But in any event, it is mapped as perennial on the most recent USGS map. So we have mean annual high water flags bordering the mean annual high water of that stream. And then around that, we have bordering vegetated wetland flags. And for the most part, this area is a pretty well-defined channel. There's rocks, some walls in different areas. You can see our series are very close here, wetland, and then the mean high water flags just inside of it in here. So the C series is the wetland, and then that right there is the mean high water of the stream, perennial stream. It does widen out and spread out over in here where you have a low-lying area. But for the most part, this continues down pretty consistently and flows towards the salt marsh across Thatcher Road. So that's most of what's proposed to occur up here. There are a few catch basins in the roadway. Those are proposed to be or have silt sacks attached to them. We've also shown some erosion controls along the perimeter of the roadway where the road is close to the stream channel. This portion of the wetland over here is a low-lying area that attaches to a BVW up in here, which eventually connects to that pond. But the hydric soil we observed continued up through the lawn area into this area here. But the roadway is quite a bit elevated from that wetland. But we have shown some erosion controls here along the edge of that roadway just to ensure nothing runs down the slope there to the wetland. This is a continuation just south. So this was what we were just looking at, the Old Nugent Farm roadway. This is phase 1 right here. So this is just a continuation of the stream. And on this portion of the project, I just want to point out that, these are the other areas of paved driveways that they're proposing to replace. And then this is the other area where those paved driveways are proposed to be replaced. And again, we do have erosion controls along the downslope side of that driveway. This isn't a drastically steep slope coming to the perennial stream channel, but there is some slope through the lawn areas here. So protecting it during construction makes sense. This is the area of Old Nugent Farm that connects to Thatcher Road. So in this portion, you can see this is the BVW that borders the perennial stream that we were just looking at. Here's where the stream ends and eventually goes under the roadway, connects over to the salt marsh across Thatcher Road down here. So this is this area up to this line here. This is the Zone AE, land subject to coastal storm flowage limit at elevation 16. We did look at the preliminary flood insurance rate maps, and this is the elevation that it's shown at. I don't believe it changed in this area of Gloucester, and so no increase in elevation of the flood zone here versus what was considered previously. This is the limit of the 100-foot buffer zone, and this is the limit of the 200-foot riverfront area right here. So nothing in the riverfront area over here, but we do have some replacement going on and occurring within the 100-foot buffer zone to the salt marsh across Thatcher Road, and then within the flood zone as well, land subject to coastal storm flowage. And then finally, this is section 11, or phase 11 rather. This is the north, I guess the easternmost portion of the property. This is the salt marsh on this easternmost portion of the site. So that's just to orient the commission, that's way up over here. Here's Calvary Cemetery, and this is the salt marsh that eventually flows towards Good Harbor. And as part of this, this is really just a very small amount of pavement replacement of the driveways that happens to fall within the riverfront area associated with the tidal stream that is within that salt marsh. So that tidal stream is tied to an elevation which eventually does extend out onto this portion of the property and is shown in this line here is a 200-foot riverfront area. The 100-foot wetland buffer zone just falls short of the pavement and clips the paver walkways. The paver walkways in this portion are not proposed to be replaced. Solely the paved ones that you were looking at on the first sheet of this plan set. Another couple, that really summarizes the project in its entirety, but a few other things that I think are important to note here that we included in the letter is that there's no change or increase in the footprint of any of the roadways or driveways here. No changes in grade or meaningful changes in grade. There are a couple spots, along garages, not this one in particular, but some of the driveways do slope a bit oddly in slope towards some of the garage openings, which, they intend to fix. But for the most part, the entirety of the project is just a replacement reclamation project where they're proposing to keep everything within the same footprint and no changes to the stormwater design as proposed. And as a result, most of the project, 95% of it would be considered exempt because almost all of it occurs within just riverfront area and the buffer zone to wetlands. But there is a portion that is not exempt because it lies within land subject to coastal storm flowage, which is down here. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions the commissioner or the public have.
Normally I would, open up for public comment, but we have no public at this time, so.
You still have 5 attendees online, but I do not see any hands up.
Okay, you want to bring them up?
There are no hands up.
Oh. All right, so.
Roll call, commissioner comments.
Roll call, commissioner comments.
Member Cook.
Yeah, the first one was wanted to make sure that there were the driveways and the roadways are going to be repaved. And you said you're going to pave the walkways. What are the walkways right now? Are they pervious? That's, basically I just want to make sure that, we're not taking anything that's an impervious surface and making it impervious.
Member Sargent.
No comment.
Terry.
No comments.
Member Villa.
No comment.
Member Jackson.
I have no problem with this project. I go by there every day. I go through it several times, and the work crew there has been working impeccably. It's a very, very clean site with good work. So I have no issues.
Question I have, Thor, is I'm not sure if you noticed where the Calvary Cemetery bumps up to this development. It used to be a big area where tons of trash would get dumped from the Calvary Cemetery down towards the river. I'm curious if that ever got cleaned up. It's right on the line between, if you're on Calvary Cemetery and you would come walking through, it drops significantly quickly. And it's right near a perennial stream, that one that's down by Witham Street. I'm just curious of the status of that and if someone ever cleaned it up.
Where,
There it is. It's right on the line there.
right up here?
Right, a little more the other way, but it's, yeah, in that area.
I do remember, sorry, is it okay if I talk
Oh,
now?
yeah, go right ahead.
I do remember walking over here when I delineated the wetlands. Nothing jumped out to me, that I recall. This is from, this is from 2020, but I didn't really walk up in here very much. I don't know if the cemetery owns this or if the city owns it, but I didn't, yeah, I didn't see anything in particular that caught my eye.
Okay, good. Because it was an absolute, I mean, there were dishwashers, refrigerators. It was nasty with a stream running right through it. That's not your problem. I was just curious.
Well, if there's a stream that extends to us, that's a problem, but I didn't see anything up here at least. Maybe it was over in here. I'm not sure.
No worries.
Yeah. But to answer Commissioner Cook's question, so they're only proposing to replace the paved walkways with existing pavement. So there are some paver walkways, which I suppose you could argue are impervious or partly pervious. Those are not proposed to be touched at all. It's just the pavement, the paved ones that are existing paved walkways that are proposed to be replaced with pavement with no increase, because if we increase or make something more pervious, then, it would be subject to stormwater management.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. House commissioners? Any more questions for Thor? Close the hearing?
Sure. Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for Amendment 028. Quick question. Is it 3033 or 3003? Isn't the amendment and the NOI number the same?
They should be, yes.
They're different on the.
Good catch.
Yeah.
That is a.
I am a proofreader.
Let me check real quick. Do you know the answer to that, Thor?
Should be 3003.
Okay, 3003. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Jackson moves to close the public hearing for Amendment 0283003 for 0 Nugent Farm Road, Old Nugent Farm Road Condominium Association.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes. Commissioner Jackson moves to approve Amendment 0283003 at 0 Nugent Farm Road for Old Nugent Farm Road Condominium Association. And I don't think there were any conditions, were there?
No, there weren't.
No, okay.
Commissioner Sargent seconds.
Roll call, Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Viteri,
Yes.
Member Gullo,
Yes.
Member Jackson.
Yes.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Good night. Okay.
I mean, we're down to certificates of compliance. Anything in there?
We do not have any tonight. As far as Whistle Stop Way goes, I did make contact with Mark Arnold. They've been able to get back out and finish their surveying now that the ice and snow has melted, and they hope to get all of their plans and everything completed and into us hopefully before the next meeting. So I will keep on that and let you guys know.
14 Foothill Avenue.
And Evan Gavundran is here from DeRosa. I'll promote her.
There we go. Good evening, Commissioners. Evan Gavundran of DeRosa Environmental. I'm here on behalf of the Thorburns with a couple of questions that we had. So as you know, we've been working with them to return the site into compliance. And we wanted to check with the commission on two questions. The first is they would like to resurface their existing tennis court. The tennis court is within buffer zone. However, it's all going to be done by hand and only on the surface of the tennis court itself. So we didn't know if the commission wanted to see an amendment to the existing order for that work, or perhaps just a minor amendment, or if that even would require a filing. And then the second question is, we noticed that there was a little bit of driveway extension for the proposed garage. The driveway is still all pervious. It's the same approved pea stone material. But instead of stopping at the garage, it continues up. So it's sort of a U-shaped entrance. And there is a small portion of that within the 100-foot buffer zone. So as we're working to bring the site back into compliance, we didn't know if the commission wanted to see maybe an after the fact amendment for that portion, or if that can just be worked out during the COC request. I can share my screen and show you what I'm talking about if that would be helpful.
Why don't you just briefly, if you don't mind?
Sure. So this is the interim as-built that was prepared by Hayes Engineering. So I sketched on here the red line of where the approved driveway was supposed to end. So this would be the main entrance, sort of like a turnaround and park in here. But what they did was they just continued the driveway up. So it was all in existing lawn area, no extra vegetation was taken out other than lawn, and it's all just the cobblestone keystone driveway that was approved on this side here. And then this is the tennis court in the back area. I think most of you, if not all of you, have seen this in person. But it's just a tennis court. It's cracking, so they want to just resurface it. And that involves power washing it, filling in the cracks, repainting, all done by hand, no heavy machinery required. And there is this gate here. So they would use the neighbor's driveway, I believe. And there's this entrance here.
Okay. Commissioner roll call comments, do we want to go?
Sure. Member Cook?
Yeah, as far as the driveway goes, I don't have an issue, but the tennis courts, I do. One, it's completely surrounded by wetlands, and if they're gonna be power washing it and resurfacing it, we're basically taking that surface off. I'm not even sure how we could go about protecting the resource area if we're going to be cleaning and resurfacing it like that. I don't know what options we have. I'm not familiar with resurfacing tennis courts. Maybe the other commissioners do, but that's my concern is, power washing or something like that. The amount of runoff we'd be throwing down into the resource areas would be unacceptable.
Member Sargent?
I believe that you should have a separate NOI, not only because of the complexity of the issues and what Commissioner Cook said, but my understanding is there may even be more disturbance there than you have presented, and maybe that could also be looked into as an after the fact NOI.
Member of Terry?
Yeah, I'd like to see an after the fact NOI with the driveway work as well and the tennis court work. I don't know if straw wattle or something, erosion control around the tennis court would sufficiently protect the resource area, but I'd like to see something that can capture the runoff and keep it from anything that's inside the runoff from going into the resource area. I'd also like to see a submission of an existing conditions plan, if one exists, for the conditions of the driveway area prior to the work that was done to expand the driveway.
Member Grillo?
Yeah, I too, I agree with both Commissioner Viteri and the Sergeant. It's just, it needs a little more, definitely need the NOI, but if I can give you a little feedback too, same problem. It's both, for me, it's both the roadway and the tennis court. Needs a little tender loving care to get this to feel right again.
Member Jackson?
I agree with the previous comments. And I just wanted a point of clarification on the tennis courts. Are you just filling in the cracks or are you resurfacing?
And with the what?
So it is repairing the, oops, sorry. Is it okay if I respond?
Yep.
Okay. It is repairing the cracks, and disposing of loose materials, pressure washing, and then paint. So that's the work that's going to be done. But I hear you, and we're more than happy to do an after the fact notice of intent for this this work. And I think if it's okay with the commission, we'll do one notice of intent for both the driveway and the tennis court and one filing. Is that okay? Or do you want to see two separate?
I'm good with one as long as you're prepared for the possibility that we might be more comfortable with one than the other, and therefore one may hold it up.
Okay.
I don't believe Chuck needs any more paperwork, so I'd be willing to settle for one.
Okay.
And yeah, just reviewing some of the aerial photos prior to the driveway extension. There are, looks like some trees that were in the original plans as not being removed that are currently no longer there. So if you could revisit some of the vegetation that was there through some of the aerial photos, that might help. It looked like there was a couple trees that are missing. But.
Okay.
And could you also check and make sure the paint is non-toxic? I realize that you're not planning on it going anywhere other than on the courts, but there's always the risk of spillage.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, nothing else, commissioners? Bill, anything to add?
Nope, I'm good.
Chuck, anything?
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you very, very much.
All right, have a good night.
You too.
That's the end of our agenda.
Excellent.
Commissioner Sargent makes a motion to adjourn.
Too early.
Peter can have it.
Roll call on Member Cook,
Yes.
Member Sargent,
Yes.
Member Thierry,
Yes.
Member Gullah,
Yes.
and Member Jackson.
Yes.
Well, like beat it with a bat.